Alright, so this is my VW Riviera 78. Her name's Velma, and it's Mother's Day weekend, and I've decided that the one thing I want for Mother's Day is to have some time to work on her. I got a couple projects I'd like to do, and then on the interior, when I first got her, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it original or change it, and I really love the sort of retro original, but the dark wood gets kind of depressing after a while. It's pretty dark in here, so I think I'm gonna make a few changes just to brighten her up. Simple, inexpensive, easy things. So today's project is I'm gonna give a try with some vinyl overlay covering this sheet here, which is the top of the camper van that holds the bed pad on. I'll show a picture of that in here somewhere, but it's dingy, dark, faded wood. I was gonna paint it, but a lot of people on different tutorials have used the stick-on vinyl wrap, so I'm gonna give that a try and see how that goes. If it fails, we'll resort to painting. I'll let you know. So here's the first dilemma. Do I go with funky tile wrap or white wood grain wrap? Here are my helpers, by the way. Lacey, Ruby, hi guys. Which ones do you think? Oh, Lacey, you like the white, don't you? Yeah, so I don't know. I might have to play with this for a while and decide. I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so the wrap idea did not work. Here's my helper, Karsten, who's super excited. And we're gonna paint it after all. The other thing I'm gonna do, well, one of the many things, is I've taken off, this is my door panel for the interior door, and you can see it's pretty warm and gross and also very brown. So we're gonna cut a new piece and replace that completely. So before I get too far on this, I just want to show you what I'm doing. We've got the bare white part of the liner here on either side of the van, and I'm just using some vinyl stick-on tile paper to kind of give it a little dress up. It doesn't fit perfectly, so I'm gonna go get a knife, and I'm just gonna carefully cut along the edges, and then I'm gonna add another piece here to finish it off, and I think it's gonna give the van just a nice little splash of touch and happiness. Alright, so I cut off the excess, and you can see the snaps. That's where the top will buckle down, and I have a nice fun tiled look to the top there. I just have to finish that edge. So now I'm going to take this rear panel down, again trying to get rid of the darkness in here. So I'm going to take this down, and then once it's down, I'm going to cover it with some of that vinyl that we had before on the side. Alright, so we talked about this yesterday. We're going to use the old door panel, and we're going to make a template out of it on this new wood that we purchased yesterday, and hopefully it'll freshen up that door. We're just gonna do a light oak stain and then poly, just to... Alright, the panels have been stained, and they've got a couple coats of polyurethane on them. We pre-drilled the holes by matching them up to the holes in the old one. And then, while I had the poly out, I figured it was not a bad idea. I went ahead and freshened up the floors. So I've got the heater on the floor right now. That's drying. We put the refrigerator back in, which we painted white. And got a few more details I can probably take care of tonight, but then this little baby's gonna have to get put on hold again so I can go to work, pick it back up next week. So another step in this process is gonna be to take this brown siding off, and I think I'm gonna try to paint this interior metal just a white. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I'm gonna try to hand paint it with some white Rust-Oleum paint. A little risky, but we're gonna give it a try. All right, so we cut the vinyl roughly the length we think we're gonna need it. And we're gonna overshoot it a little bit so we can cut it with a knife just to keep it the seam nice and even. So Karsten, will you grab down there? All right, so we're using a screen tool. Oh, look, you cut it early for me. And we're just making sure that it's tucked into the seams really good before we take the blade to it to cut it off. And that screen tool, how's it work? How's the screen tool working, Karsten?
It's working good.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're cutting around some screws that we need access to carefully as well. All right, I got the crew out here. We're starting the paint, which was the one thing I was most worried about, so we're gonna see how this goes. We're just using Brush On Rust-Oleum Semi-Gloss White. What do you think, Anna? How's it coming out? Does it look good?
When it's not splotchy, it will.
Just a few coats, that's all it's gonna take. And when you get bored helping your mom with the V-dub, this is what you do. I can't have anything nice.
Why would you do that?
All right, so we're reinstalling. You might remember that dark brown board we had and the black back paneling. It's got some pretty tile on it now, and we're reinstalling the board painted white, which looks so much nicer.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, so we're done for the day. We're gonna put it up and start over again next week. It's freezing here today. It's New Hampshire. It's like middle of May and it's freezing. So I had to put the heater in the van last night because nothing was drying, which doesn't surprise me. It was 50 something degrees out and a little bit humid. So let's see how things are going today. Let's take a look. So floor's nice and dry. The paint looks nice and dry, and I think it actually came out pretty smooth. I was worried about brush painting the Rust-Oleum, but it looks really good. This is the vinyl I put down, that's holding up. Okay, so slightly unexpected problem. The pins I pulled off of the original laminate that was here are too short for the board. There's too much width to this board. The other one was just a thin panel. No problem though. I'll just go get some new pins from the store. I just have to figure out what length I need. So we'll install this another day. So the other day you might remember that I tried to put the back panel of my door back on, but the push pins that I used were not working. They were too narrow, so I cut my board a little thicker than the previous board that was there. So I was able to find these. These are great newer style automotive pins, and you stick them in and then you use a hammer or something, I'm using a hammer, to just push the plunger in. Once you put them in the hole, this little plunger opens up the back and it fits any size. So it's working out great, and I actually think they look pretty good. I like the way they look. So I'm gonna finish putting those on. Then I'm gonna put my curtains back on and the rear door is done. So before I put the panel back on, I'm just gonna kind of lube up the connections here. This handle's been pretty stiff recently, so I'm gonna go through the system, check it out, make sure it's good to go, and then we're gonna install the panel. So here's a couple before and afters. I'm not really loving the contrast between the curtains and the tile up there. It's a little busy, but I spent a lot of time on those roll down curtains, so they're gonna stay for a while. I am loving the brightness though of having painted white and replaced those older door panels. The next project is to rebuild the roll downs that go in the door in the storage area. That's going to happen this weekend, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out.